Howdy champs, my name is Mohit and people, today I want to show you how to make a jQuery UI animated Menubar. Let me first show you a preview in Google Chrome. Before that, let me give a title. So that's jQuery UI Menubar. Animated, of course. Right, so save all. Let's take a preview up in Google Chrome. Alright. Notice as I hover over the different menu items how the background colors as well as the color of the font changes, but it doesn't change in an instant. It kind of animates as you see as I roll over the different item. It's a very smooth animation that takes place in 0.7 seconds, 700 milliseconds. Right, it looks pretty cool. Apart from that, you can see that I've used rounded corners as well for the menu bar. Right, so if you really think this animation is cool and looks nice, I'm going to show you how to replicate the same effect in a new separate file, and trust me on this people, it's not at all too difficult. Alright, so let's start. For simplicity, I've kept all menu items as menu item 111. Obviously this is a test menu and this would change when you would be making it. So let's construct it from scratch, and that's gonna be pretty easy. So I'm gonna say file and a new. Let me hit the create button. Okay, first up people, let me give it a title. So that's jQuery UI menu bar animated. Cool. All right. Let me go to modify page properties and let me just set the left, the top, the right, and the bottom margins of the body to 20 px each. Right. Cool. That's the first bit of CSS for you out here. Okay, you can notice it out here as well. Right, next up what I'm gonna do is in the body area, let me just have an h1 opening tag, which means I should have an h1 closing tag too, and out here let me say class of spacer. Now I haven't defined spacer yet. I'm about to define. I'm gonna say jQuery animated UI menu bar. Right, that is the way things look like right now, but I need to define the spacer. Let me click on the plus button. Automatically the namespacer auto populates in the contextual selector. We have a class out here. This definition is getting saved in this document itself, so it's an internal or an embedded rule. That's fine. Let me say okay, and I'm gonna say let's say Palatino linotype, bold, italic, and a padding of 10 pixels all around, and let's say okay. Cool. Next up people, let me have an opening div tag out here, give it a class of let's say style 1, which I'm yet to define. I'll define it pretty soon. Rather, this will be menu bar actually, or rather just let's keep it very simple, menu. Okay, I need to close the div as well, so balance the divs. Right, inside the div with the class menu, let's change it to ID menu actually. Right, and out here let me pass in a few anchor tags. So that's a href, that's basically I'm creating links now, href attribute, and since I don't have any link ready, I'm going to use a fake nil, a fake link, that is just a null link that doesn't take you anywhere seriously. So just putting a hash sign out there just to simulate a link, that is, and then let me pass in a class of style1 again that I need to create yet. Okay, let me close it up like so. and in between out here let me say menu item space 1. Right, I'm going to catch hold of this and I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it several times next to each other like this. All right, next people, what I need to do is I need to define a, and that is that's a tag selector. So I'm going to apply the rule to all anchor tags, and again internal or an embedded rule. Let me say OK, and this time let's say I would want a font size of 18, and I would want the display to be inline block, which means that it will honor the width and the height, but it will be inline in the same line. Right, it's an important step, people. Do not skip it, otherwise it will not work properly in IE7. So it has to be inline block, and moreover then let's go to the box category. Let's say the padding should be 10 and 10 for the top and the bottom, but for the right and the left it should be 20 pixels each. That's 20 pixels each. Right, at the same time the color for the font, I would want it as white. Right, and let's say OK. Obviously everything will disappear. Next up, people, since the font was white, everything just disappeared. So don't worry, it'll come back as soon as I define style 1, which is out here, class style 1. Let me go with the class style 1, and let's say OK. Again, an internal or an embedded rule. Okay, as far as style 1 is concerned, all I need to do is I'll need to say background color black. Alright, so you can see that the menu bar is back in place. Alright, basically all the text is back in place. There's just one more thing that I need to write, and which is text decoration none. Alright, so we'll take care of the underline out here. Okay, that was one change that I needed to make. Cool. I need to define one more style, and that's style 2. Now what's happening out here, we're working with the switch class in jQuery, as you'll soon see. Now what switch class does is in jQuery it will switch the class on a trigger, and the trigger out here will be mouse over and the mouse out. So and the classes that we need to switch are style 1 and style 2, as you'll soon see. So the default applied style is style 1, and when you mouse over, when you hover, it'll switch to style 2, and when you mouse out again, it'll switch back to style 1. So that is the way switch class operates in jQuery. We'll soon see what I mean by that. So let me create one more class, that's style 2. Right, let's say OK, and the background color this time I would want to have as a mild color, so let's go with $CCC. Alright, let's save and have a look up in the browser. So let's save the changes, yes, and let's call it Menubar with switch class in jQuery. Okay, just coming up now. Okay, so pretty vanilla menu bar. Alright, let's get back to Dreamweaver. Now let's do one thing, let's add a border, but a right border. So I'm going back to the rule, the A rule, the anchor rule. I'm going to go to the border category, and then let me tick off all these symbols. Right, for the right border only, I would want it to be a solid 1px of, let's say, this color 666, and let's say okay. So this time I have a right border as well. Let me show it up in Google Chrome. Alright, so pretty much taking shape now. Okay, next, people, I need to add the JQuery, and for that what I need to do is I need to you need to fetch this URL, people. This is jQueryui.com/switch class. Now The JQuery or the JavaScript library files of JQuery files are available as CDNs, which there's one CSS CDN, one and two JavaScript CDNs that we need. And the quickest way you can actually get them is if in this URL I click on the view source, and I can straight away copy line number 7, 8 and 9. Okay, so these three lines are pointing to the CSS and jQuery files that we need for this project. So it's up and hosted on the server. It's actually a CDN, so you really don't need to bother. Just copy it from here, get back to Dreamweaver, and out there just below the title tag I would want you to push it out here. So as a careful look, you can actually see that it's all these CDNs are pointing to an HTTP, so it's a URL already hosted on the server. So that's, you don't need to really bother what's exactly inside it. We are happy with the fact that it's gonna work for us. Okay, and now we need to have a little bit of JavaScript, a little bit of script written for us, okay, which I've already copied and which I'm going to paste out here in line number 10 just below this script tag. Okay, let me push it out here, and yes, let me separate it from the rest of the content so we can just focus on what exactly is written out here. Okay, there's a small script out here, and this script is going to use the switch class functionality. So basically in line number 13 it says that if the document is ready to be manipulated on a mouse over, we would want to target all the anchor tags inside the menu, so basically the div with the ID menu, and in jQuery you use the reserved word mouse enter, so that's a mouse over actually. An anonymous function should be run, and what that does is the item that's hovered upon, which is referred to as this, will switch the class from style1, which was the default style, to style2 over 700 milliseconds. But on a mouse out, it will reverse that, so style2 will become style1 over 700 milliseconds. So it's basically target all the anchor tags inside the div with the ID menu. So this is the target. Alright, and this is the specific item that's being targeted. So switching between style1 and style2, these were the two classes that we had defined. If you remember, all that the style1 and the style2 have are the background colors. Okay, I'm yet to define the background color for style2, so what I can do is, I thought I had defined, but I probably forgot. So for the style2, let me keep it as $CCC. Let me say okay, and let's have a look up in the browser now. So there you go, just coming up now. Alright, very cool. Okay, there are a few more modifications that I would like to make. On a mouse over or on a hover, I would want to change the color of the font. So I would want to have the color to be black out here, or the text, so that's a black. Alright, let's have a look up now. Okay, now that's exactly what I was looking to do. Pretty cool. And but people, have a look out here. For the last menu item, I have the border right, which is showing up, which I actually wouldn't want to show up. So let's see how we can tackle that. So let's go to the code area, and this is the last anchor tag, people, which has the style1. I'm gonna add one more class to it, space separated class, which is inv, which I'm yet to define. Okay, so let me define the class inv. So click on the plus button and drop down the contextual selector to a class. Let's call it inv. Alright, let's say okay, go to the border category and check it off. Right, solid, sorry, just make border right none. Let's say okay. The class should work now since it's been applied to the last anchor tag. Okay, let's have a preview up in the browser Chrome, and when I hover over now, you can see that the right border is actually missing. Okay, exactly what I wanted to do. So pretty cool. Now the only thing that we need to tackle is the left and the right rounded corners, which again may not work in very old browsers, people, but that's okay. At least in those browsers you'll be able to see the square, angles, or the perpendicular angles, not rounded corners, straight corners, right? So let's get back to Dreamweaver, and next up, people, what I'm gonna do is, for the first anchor tag, which is out here, I'm gonna add a space separated class after style1, and I'm gonna call it rounded left. And similarly, let me copy this up. For the last anchor tag, which is out here, I'm going to add one more space separated class. I'm going to call it rounded right. Okay, since I don't have these two classes ready, I'm going to define them one by one. So let's define the class rounded right. So that's rounded right, and let's say okay, and okay once again. It's an internal or an embedded rule. Click on add property, and let's say border radius, and I would want for the rounded right the top right to be at 8. The rounding should be 8 for the top right. For the bottom right should be 8 as well. And let's see how it actually affects the menu bar. Let's take a preview up in Google Chrome. After saving the changes, and just coming up, people, in a moment. So you can see now the the right hand side of the menu bar is actually rounded. Pretty cool. Let's get back to Dreamweaver. Similarly, I need to define the rule, which is rounded left. So that's rounded left. Again, internal or an embedded rule, right? Let's say okay, and let's say okay once again, but then come out here, say add property, and say border radius, and this time check this off, top left 8, bottom left 8 as well. Okay, and let's have a look up in the browser now. Alright, so people, as you can see that we have the left and the right edges rounded for the menu bar. It's a nice animated menu bar as well. Alright, so let's go to the code area and discuss it one last time. Okay, so people, to sum it up, it's a JQuery animated switch class animated menu bar, and it uses certain CDNs that are available from the URL, which is jQueryui.com/switch class. Okay, which you can just copy and paste it out here, and exactly you can just open a view source and paste line number 7, 8, and 9. Alternatively, they're available down here at the bottom. Okay, and also this is the a little bit of jQuery that you need to write. Basically all it does is, on a mouse enter, which is as good as mouse over, you switch between style 2 and style 1. So style 1 is replaced by style 2 over 700 milliseconds, but when the mouse leaves, when you take your mouse away or off the menu items or the anchor tags, style 2 is replaced by style 1 over 700 milliseconds. What are style 1 and style 2? Basically just background colors and the text color in the case of style 2. Alright, so essentially that is how it actually works. And we have several anchor tags out here, but for the first anchor tag that's on the extreme right, I've added a space separated rounded left class, and that uses the border radius property to round off the corners. Corresponding class rounded right we have for the extreme right anchor tag, which rounds off the edges on the right hand side of the menu bar. We also have a space separated inv class for the last anchor tag. What that does is it removes the right border for that last anchor tag. Alright, so as you can see, we have used space separated classes out here for the last anchor tag as well as for the first anchor tag. Alright people, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and you join me in many more tutorials to come. You have a good day. Bye bye. Peace.